Good evening, everyone. We have today Jean-Luc, who will talk about Blow Up. And Jean-Luc is an Aurovillian and is a photographer. And he will tell you many things, but a photographer, and he will tell you also why he chose Blow Up and everything. And then we will screen the movie and talk. Thank you.
Thank you. The idea to choose this movie, it's about the context of the beginning of Auroville. This film has been done in '66 and had been awarded as a Cannes Palme d'Or in '67. So I was looking what was the condition of the world around the beginning of Auroville. Because for me it is interesting to see how it can resonate, because actually we say, oh, Auroville is in danger, Auroville is in mess, because the world is also in mess. So I would like to feel if this is something true in the past, if it is also occurs. So this movie is from Antonioni, a very famous Italian director. It's one of the first he does in English language. It's a part of 3 movies with Carlo Ponti, the producer of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, and it was the most successful of Antonioni's career. Antonioni was found as a difficult director because he was always using black and white and characters, and everything was told as difficult. Next film done with the American was Zabriskie Point in the 70s, and it was very disappointed. He has very few public. What I can say, but I can launch some, because Antonioni is very interesting in terms of frame. He has always a very beautiful frame, and mostly he prefers black and white. For example, in that previous movie, it was Red Desert. Red Desert, there is a part in black and white, there is a part in color, and he says he asked to his assistant to paint everything with painting. And also he says he does the same in Blow Up. He repaints the grass because he feels the British grass is not even green. So he makes all the park, you will see in the movie, all has been repainted. On the houses also, on the studio also, and he chooses very colored clothes to make some punctum about the color, because for him color is an element very interesting. And this movie is not about, he says at the moment, this movie is not about men relationship, it's about a relationship with reality. And all the movie is turning around photography. What is photography? So, just first, we're gonna see some frame of him.
Chissà perché si fanno tante domande. Io credo che non bisogna conoscersi per volersi bene.
Delle volte mi sembra di non avere alcun diritto di trovarmi dove sono. Sarà per questo che ho sempre voglia di andar via.
The landscape to describe what is the inner of the personage, of the characters. And all details are very important. You will see in Blow Up, all details are very, very important, and you have to follow the details. He manipulates the colors of landscape. He tries to make something very personal every time. So in 66, 67, what happens in London? What was interesting to see? What was happening in London? So I prepare a little play. A little quiz, yes. So, this group, it's, there is a trap, so only British, but only one American. I put it again. This group is the Yardbirds, is in the movie. At the beginning, Antonioni asked the Pink Floyd, asked the Rolling Stones, asked many groups, and only the Yardbirds said, okay. So it was a swinging London, and it was a period of really a great emergence of all the British rock and roll. So I can make you hear something else. This is very easy. No, everybody knows? Okay. And it was the beginning of also, of course, of the Beatles. And this group is less. Who knows? The Kings. The Kings. Another which is more easy. Who? You say who? So it was a very, very good time for the music in London because it was an opening of the society. They just, they just, you know this roman, Lady Chatterley, from D.H. Lawrence. This was completely forbidden. It was in England. You cannot read it. And they opened it, and it was available in England. It was available in France, in Italy, everywhere, but not in England. So they opened it. So there is sort of opening about the society. And also in fashion, there is a lot of things happens. I will show you. It is the beginning of the miniskirt by Mary Quant in England. So this is the England style. This is Courrèges, because it's became same time in France by Courrèges and by Mary Quant in England. This is Courrèges style. Courrèges, Mary Quant. And this is the fashion it was in Italy. In Italy, it was still very conventional, and so the fashion. So in England, especially in London, there was this liberation of the body, liberation of the way of being, rock and roll, beginning of drugs, sex, and rock and roll. That was the time. And I can show you anything else. What was happening in USA? It was the time of the war. It was the time of the war, beginning of the big riot, black riots in all the country. Some new stuff are coming in technology. And this is Raquel Welch. And she wore a mini jupe also, mini skirt. But the war was very strong, and the protest of the students also in the US. So the situation was not very easy also at this time. And the main character of Blow Up is David Bailey. David Bailey was a very great photographer, and it was the first time a photographer not from the establishment became at the top. David Bailey was dyslexic, and he has a lot of problems at school. So his teacher says, "Oh, you will clean the roads. You don't do anything. You will clean the road." And David Bailey bought a small camera and began to make pictures of birds, and became to be assistant to big photographers, and working for Fleet Street, for the magazine of Fleet Street, and became to make pictures. And I will show what is the style of David Bailey, because it's, you will see in the movie some way of working of David Bailey. It's him. You will see the character is very close to this. He was young at this time. And it was also at this time a sort of revolution, because magazine accept to print from 35 millimeters negative or slides. Before, they only want large size document. This is one of the pictures he's done. He was specialist of the black background, because he says, I want to make the people completely themselves. I don't want to have a landscape. I don't want to have anything in behind. I want to make them he was the one pioneer of the white background. White background. This is the Rolling Stones. This is James. It's one of his wife. That I don't remember the name of this lady. Because he was also in the fashion. He was Jane Shrimpton, and he married in '65 Catherine Deneuve. This is also Jane Shrimpton. She was an actress in British. Kate Moss. I suppose you know all Kate Moss. I suppose you know them, of course. And who is him? You know him too. So he was completely involved in the not only in the fashion but in the people, and he has made 800 pages for Vogue in British. And also he's a painter. So it's the first time he has he's a complete artist. The story about Blow Up is a story who came from another photographer from Magnum, which name is Serge Larin. And Serge Larin was one of the first photographers to work with Henri Cartier-Bresson for the Magnum agency in the US. And Serge Larin told the story to one of his friends. He was taking pictures in Paris along the scene, and he see a couple, women, a young boy, and he was surprised, and so he began to take pictures, and the lady came to him and asked him the film. He says, of course, no, it's my film, I don't give you. And after, when he enlarged the pictures, he seen something very strange. He sees in a car someone with a very strange face. We were looking to the couple. So it's a sort of pretext for Blow Up. I can show you some picture of Serge Larin, because in the film you will see the character Thomas going to make pictures in a social way, and also at this time it was coexisting these two sorts of photography: fashion, very commercial, and also it was the beginning of the instant décisif for Cartier-Bresson, so it was this Magnum was launching. This is Valparaiso. Valparaiso is an harbor in South America. And what is interesting in Serge Larin is he has studied agriculture in the US, and after making a lot of pictures, he decided to stop everything and to go back to the forest and to grow vegetable for him and to stop photography and meditate, yes. And this is one of the first pictures. He says it's accident, but it's terrible poetic, and because he tries to have this resonate of the forms. Because you see this in this picture, there is a sort of, it is not done, it is a spontaneous picture, but he tries to find in the frame some correspondence in between the forms we are in. So like these two girls were following in a stairs. And the composition is very good. Duanov was making the pictures, and him was taking what the picture happens as it is in the real life. It is completely different. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. So, I don't want to speak more of this movie because it's a very long one. It's the studio where is done the pictures is a real studio of a photographer. And one of the scenes, the most important scene, is when Thomas brings Vanessa Redgrave. She was the lady he photographed in a park. She came, and you be attentive. They are talking very less, but be attentive to the body language. And for me, it's a key scene of this film. So I keep some things to say after. Mostly the question is about photography. What is a photography a proof? Is it a reflect of the reality, or if it is anything else? And there is another scene, maybe we can there is another movie 10 years after. It's in, it's the same, it's a question, what is inside the photography. Is it what you see or it is what is around? Because when you make a photography, you have a frame. So you put the thing in the frame, but outside the frame, many things can happen. So that's why it is different to take a photography with a camera, with a real appareil photo, and to make it with a cell phone. Because with a cell phone, you see everything around. You're not in the subject. You're not into the action. It is really different. It is a recording of the reality, but it is not the choice. Because when you make a photography, when you take a photography and you see very well in the fashion what is the attitude of the photographer, the attitude of the model. It is really a caricature in this one, because all the models are not like that. They are not like a piece of wood. They are human. You make it some relationship when you make picture, even if you want something very precise about this. And
there were quite many references in terms of fashion and everything. Some frames were inspired by Guy Burdin's imagery. Those two girls wearing stockings and shoes are images from Guy Burdin's fashion images, quite inspired from that.
because it was a really good remark. It was only the same time in France of Guy Bourdin and Dim Dam Dom, and Peter Knapp was the art director of Elle, and he make a lot of pictures of this sort of stocking from Dim, and it was the launch of various colors. Yes, and it was the same time of the miniskirts. It was the same. It was a kind of freedom of the body and the sexual revolution. Also, the coming of many drugs like weeds and cocaine and anything. And it was the time of the society was moving very much. But what's happened after?
Quite a statement of voyeurism as well. Because quite a statement about voyeurism as well. Because at that point of time, voyeurism, the photography was considered an act of voyeurism. So it was quite a statement about it. It somehow reminded me of Persona by Ingmar. Basically, it was as a statement, and that film was also made as a statement of cinematography. It was supposed to be named cinematography, but they named it Persona because it's a whole statement about the approach of filmmaking and how you look at it.
Yeah, I agree completely. But it's more. The next one, Zabriskie Point in 70, is about a student in the US who refused to go to the Vietnam War. And these two, Antonioni, have the really focus about politics and about society. Someone have something to say? Do you have some question or you have some opinion about the movie?
Was it always in color or is there a black and white version?
This one?
Yeah, that movie.
No, this one is in color. There is only one version in color. Yeah, it's only one version. But what he does, he repainted. You see, at the moment, the car is in London, and all the buildings on the right are red. So he repainted quite a full street, and there is a building also blue, and there is those nuns who are in white dressing, and he makes some joke with the color in that movie. But he says in an interview he doesn't like color, he prefers black and white, because for him black and white is first interpretation of the life. It is something else than the life, so he prefers to tell story in that way of black and white. And also he's making, when you see, when I screen the first frame, the remarkable frames, it's like pictures. It's always very well composed, and it is really. He has a sense of the how to empty or how to fill a frame.
There's quite a balance between the stillness and the motion as well.
Absolutely.
Because when there was frames, they waited for the frame to be completed. It did not make sense as such, but it waited. There was something passing by, something coming in. So the last of the frames, when they moved into the room, they still paused for a while. So there's quite a pause with the frames. But I really like those motions where they really use it. Like the last shot, the ball. So they took the perspective as like looking at the ball.
It's like a lesson of cinematography. It's how to put the spectator in the way he wants he goes. It is really.
The first hint was where the antique shop was there. So it's downhill. And it could have been a frame very properly composed, but it was tilted according to the road. I don't know, it was a choice or it was, but it was quite like, to break the rules, and make the rules, like they made some new rules there, right there. It was fantastic. Thanks for that.
Really good movie. And also, Antonioni says all the scene, little bit sexual, cannot be done in Italy. Because in Italy it's really Catholic and they don't allow this. But in England was more permissive at this time. So that's why he prefers to do it. And also in Zabriskie Point there is a scene of a couple in the Death Valley, which is like that.
I don't know if anybody observed or when that act was happening, when there were two girls with the backdrop happening. I don't know, I used to ask us to pay attention, I was paying attention. I felt I saw shoes in the background, like someone standing in the background. I felt so, I don't know if somebody else also observed that. And
you mean about the two girls who come to...
That was happening, so there was this frame and he was also involved. So I could see a pair of shoes, maybe it was a picture or I don't know, but I felt that I saw a shoe there, like people standing there, like a person standing there. I don't know.
Did you see a dead body there?
Sorry?
A dead body you saw?
No, while...
I think it was the first role of Jane Birkin in a movie. She was really, really young, and she was really fresh, really naive. And
About photography, it's very interesting to see how he's in the morning he's going in the mine with the miners, and he's in the true.
It's not a mine; it's a shelter for homeless. It's a
Ah,
homeless shelter.
okay.
It's a house for homeless.
So he's and he's spending all the night, or I don't know, and he's in a total universe, and he's very, very high-level professional because he has such a team, and he has some slaves who are. And take it, and he's very, very professional, and the models are totally out of his universe because he is in the universe of these homeless people, and they are not expressing, but he tries to make them having an inner part. Close the eyes, open the eyes, and so and so. And I didn't understand at one moment. They are very good, but you can burn it. So what is burn in this case? You can is giving the planche contact, and
No, the clothes. Because the clothes he wore in the shelter probably stink. So he gave to the assistant to burn it. The clothes, only the clothes he was wearing. He changed clothes.
Okay. I thought he was going to burn the photo. So and after there is this. He's looking for something, and he's totally he's bored. He wants to go. He's bored about London is not giving him what he wants. And then he's taking this photo in the park, and for me, he is a true photographer, because he is totally attracted by these shitty things, a couple who is kissing, but his instinct is more deep than what seemingly appeared, and then he's in action was totally out of his mind, and perhaps he is totally inventing everything. You know what I mean? No, but if you are taking the last image with the ball, perhaps is totally dreaming.
It's also a question about the reality. What is the reality we want to see?
Yeah, but
if we want to see some reality, we can invent it also. We can make it turn in our way. And reality is not neutral.
and this the mistress of the painter is telling him, your photo is like the painting of, and it's very, very interesting also. It's very, very interesting also. Yeah, very interesting to see that when we are taking photo, we are taking with our insight, and what we are showing, it's like a painting. It's not reality, and it's very, very interesting in this way. It's quite a workshop of photography.
The last picture, it's a key to understand the movie. And we have another key. The last photo is, we see nothing. We see nothing. So it means that it is imagination. Okay, and but it is very interesting about creativity and art. And it is at the same time the imagination of the photographer and the imagination of people who are looking at the photo. I think it's very good.
Later half actually explains the name of the film where he's trying to blow up the image, enlarge the image. Like the later part where he's trying to enlarge the image through the process. So it's called blowing up in analog process. So that's why I was like wondering why it's blow up, like, and I could not figure out why the name blew up eventually. And somehow it just made sense to me, the whole film, because the pursuit of creating images, and like I'm a photographer by profession, I have like a couple of pages on Vogue India as well. But the whole pursuit of, as you mentioned, the Magnum and everything, there's these two different worlds. And as a creator, as a photographer, I keep shuffling in between. And somehow it's very hard to understand the fulfillment it will give eventually, the fashion will give you everything, and there's no need for him to do that, right? To create a book and while he's trying to make something. And I'm also in a pursuit of making a book which eventually does not make sense in that another universe of fashion. So it's just two different worlds colliding, but I think it was quite a statement about how the process works, because eventually what I feel is, as creative, once you start and you go through this path of glam and everything where you find a fulfillment, but one is to find a higher purpose, basically, to actually that you make some certain changes in world, So that's where I think his book was, well, he was striving for that book to be out so that he can show a different world. Because like I have worked so many in the fashion scene, but I'm working on a book where it speaks about identity of people who have migrated. So I somehow, late in my years of 7 years of experience in my career, I felt like I am making no change in this world eventually with all this, what I'm doing. But I think that book or something, a story that I can tell, so that strive for the story, I think, is the...
Also, it shows how photography can be superficial,
commercial, and useful for the world. And one of things which is quite the same period, which was very interesting, it's how the photographers, the American photographers of the agency in the Vietnam War changed the opinion in the US. At the beginning, everybody was for the war. But as all the pictures they show about the catastrophe and all the dead people, the napalm, all that very... I don't know if you remember, there is a very famous picture of a little girl which is running on a road. She is completely burned by napalm. And these pictures became completely iconic in the US. And so the students, most refuse. They burn their military papers, they burn their papers, everything not to go to the Vietnam. There is two times in a photography which was very important. It's about the Vietnam and also about the children work in UK. It was before. And the first pictures of the children working in the mines makes the opinion change about that. On all, just little aparté. I've just seen the last report of CNN in Gaza. It's the first time CNN can go in Gaza without the Israeli army. So there is a lady who goes with humanitarian doctors, and she make a movie. It's completely terrible. You never seen that. It's completely terrible because she was not embedded with the army, so she can film really in a hospital and she can show the pictures. And this, I think this reportage also can change something, because when Biden is sending 14,000 obus, comme on dit en anglais, shells to the Israeli, it's not possible to see that. So the power of the picture is very important. Also, when you speak about in France what was changing the fashion, Guy Bourdin, I know him well, and he changed completely the way of the fashion also. He make stories about, not only showing clothes. For him, he doesn't want, it was his first focus to show.
Initially you specified that the landscape was always a bigger background. That's what
Absolutely, and the use of the color, and a very famous campaign about shoes, and yeah.
And the funny part is like the black and white images that he developed are so inspired by Helmut Newton. Helmut Newton was Guy Bourdin's like counterpart, who was also working in US at that point of time. So those pictures of that lady on the stairs are quite inspired by Helmut Newton's black and white images.
Sure. There is a lot of reference about photography in that movie. There is a lot.
But what is interesting also in this movie for me is how the subject is coming to the photographer. The photographer is moving. He is in his life, but he's moving because he's moving so much. He's always running, and he doesn't care. He has a Rolls Royce, but he doesn't care about
the Rolls Royce. It's a very special model. Only 200
models
have been
but
made.
he doesn't care. He put things in it, and he has, and he is in a quest. He is in a quest as a photographer. And in this quest, he is finding things. He's finding his way. And for me, what is coming from now, this is artificial intelligence photography. And this is very, very interesting to see the opposite about what is this movement and what is artificial intelligence now. Because you are describing what you want to express. But this, I'm not telling this is not photography, but this is what you want. And there is a machine who is doing for you with something else. But this is a different way, total different way of position. You are in front of reality, you are in front of immanence, and then you are doing, and you are seeing, or you are, and then you are describing what you want. And it's more, for me, this is very, very interesting. What we are living now.
It is very dangerous.
And very, very dangerous, but it's also it's creation, but which type of creation?
If it is used as a creation, why not? But
if it is used to make some proof
of something,
but it has no more value. Photography has no more value as a proof. I mean, it wasn't forever. But
for the little story, when Antonioni goes to London, he meets the real David Bailey, and Antonioni was with Monica Vitti, what's his girlfriend. And when he sees Bailey running around Monica Vitti, he says, "No, we don't use this guy as a character. We will take an actor." Because he has a very bad reputation.
And what you were telling about David Bailey, he was dyslexic.
Yes,
and
completely.
He was condemned to clean the ground.
Yeah.
And it's very, very interesting to see that he was seeing.
Yeah.
With his dyslexia, he was seeing.
Yeah.
And seeing from another point of view. And if I'm coming back to artificial intelligence, you don't have to be intelligent and to be how to manipulate it, you have to see.
That's very funny because when you were David Bailey young, talking, he was talking very strong Cockney accent. You don't understand anything. It's like you take a cab in London. You don't say, you don't understand anything. And after he makes some, he manages English really more properly. But at the beginning, he's really rough. He's from the, he's from the not middle class, lower middle class. He's popular, very popular. And when he makes the first pictures, he has been, he shows pictures to Vogue, and Vogue says, "Oh, it's a new style." So that's why he has been completely in the 60s. He was in a exclusive contract with Vogue. He make a lot of pictures, and it is so easy when you have a contract with a magazine like that because you can ask everybody to come. So he makes this picture of the Queen. Yeah. So you can do everything when you have a contract.
Nobody slept in the film until the last scene. Nobody slept.
Yeah.
It was just the day of one
It
was called one day.
Yeah.
And thanks for sharing those references initially, like really helped to look at it. And the only reference I could not figure out was that what was the sign. If you know what that sign was, is it like a airplane sign or that AIL that always been there, the blue line?
I don't know. Maybe it's a nightclub or something. I think so. But I'm not sure.
What is very important, not only in the movie, but I don't see the meaning of it. This is this group of crazy people who are at the beginning and
at the beginning and the end.
At the end, and at the end they become totally silent, and they are seeing and following something we don't see, and it's very, very interesting. They are totally disturbing the society. And turning around and making joke about everything. And at the end, they are mute and following something very truly like me, Marceau. We are not seeing. And it's a proposition to the photographer that to see the unseen also. And he is agreeing with it. And then the sound is coming. So.
Oh yes.
The music is very important in that movie.
He left the camera actually. He was not.
Yeah, he left the camera, and the sound is coming.
Then only sound is coming.
So there is a reality. It's about.
And also, it seems so lonely at the end. It's very small and in this grass, completely lonely. And yeah. But because I think to be photographer, you are always alone. You are always with yourself, and you are working alone. Even if you have a crew for advertising or for fashion, of course you are working with makeup artists, with hairdresser, but you decide at the end. You are responsible for that.
Actually, specified is like really true to the point because, like, me being a cinematographer, for me it's very hard to be a spectator sometimes. That's why I try to prefer to watch on screenings surrounded by people, and you can just be a spectator yourself. Because if I'm trying to watch it by myself, no matter how big the screen is, I'll always be like dissecting it, like this is how the camera moves, this is how the technicalities work, this might have been but right now at this point of time, like to be a true spectator is the thing, like at the point that you be a true spectator and you just watch it as a viewer, trying not to be so into it, but it was like an amazing experience overall.
When he's seducing in his studio, the woman.
With Vanessa Redgrave.
And he's putting music, and she's starting to dance. And
I know you speak about with the mother, with Derushka, when he makes fashion with the...
No. With a woman who is in the garden.
Ah, the Vanessa Redgrave.
So, and she's dancing in the rhythm.
Yeah.
And and she's dancing, and it doesn't look. What I was feeling when she was dancing, she was interpreting something. She was following mainstream. And suddenly it is telling him, be of the beat. Be of the beat. And it's very, very important also, because at that moment they are able to share something, to exchange something, and then she is very, very attracted by him. But if she is following the beat, she is like in the others, you know, but off the beat, they are sharing another contact. It's very, very interesting.
Okay, so thank you for coming.